My name is Paltino. Today I'm going to show you Visions of Mana.
Visions of Mana.
So first off, we can continue at last save. There's an autosave function. You have your New Game Plus. If you finish the story once, New Game, Load Game, Alt Clear, and convert the save data from a demo you could have played. But we're gonna load this time of an almost fully finished save. And I'm not gonna spoil too much. So first off, we're gonna start in the first city you start off, Yannia. Already a very beautiful city. And we're gonna go over the menu because there are some things that are special to this game. First off, you have the guides with the adventure log, which is the usual, just your basic story. Basic story recap, I mean. And then we have the encyclopedia, which is a lot of world building. And I mean a lot of world building. So much world building. Okay. I'm not gonna go over too much, but the world has a big story. Then we have the bestiary, which is unfortunately a lot of recolors and like, but at least they are all kind of different. They have different strengths, different weaknesses. A lot like that, you know? It just changes around a bit. And of course there are bosses too, but they are all one thing. Then we have the handbook, which is basically a tutorial. And then we have the cactus diaries, which is a thing you get from little cactuses. There is in every bigger area is one, and you get pages from him, and you get bonuses for that. Won't do much over it, but they are worth it, so keep an eye out. And with side quests, which I won't go too much into, there are a lot of side quests. Then we have our items with our beautiful item wheel and some extra shortcuts, which are also pretty handy. I used more of the wheel because I like it more, but the shortcuts have their strengths and weaknesses. Then we have our core stones, which you can get through Val's special ability. I will go with it a little bit more in the story in the story part of the video. Then we have our ability seeds. You can equip those to your characters and they give them certain aspects and sometimes even like spells. And your key items, the usual. And we have our items. There are actually not that much difference in items, like only weapon and armor. And they change in appearance, which I always love. The armor doesn't change the character itself, but you can change the appearance of the weapon, which is also pretty handy. It's a very cool feature to have always. Then we have two of the armors I got for DLC stuff. And every character has them. Like Morley here, Yoro has the weapons. And yeah, the appearances. What I really like in the game. Oh yeah, I'm going to the vessels. Those are basically your special attacks. You get a different special attacks with every elemental vessel. And at the start of the game, you get a different weapon and different movesets, basically. Like with Well here, you get a two-handed sword, one-handed sword with some, and the shield and lance for some. And in the end game, if you have, wait, I'm gonna go over it later. But basically, every character has 3 different weapon sets and move sets. And then we have the ring menu with the spells. Every character has different spells, of course. Some can heal, some don't. Some are more ranged, some are more upgrading. Then we go into the ability seeds. You have items you need to get to upgrade the number of slots. And then there are your class abilities that are different for every class, and you have to kind of get them first before you can equip them. So what next? Yeah, gear vessels. Yeah, the elemental plot. That's what I wanted to say. If you finish one of those, you have to get like those spaces in between an item to go to the next place. And you have your elemental plot points under the character which you have left to use. And of course you need to get to the last place to change equipments and weapons freely, which is an awesome feature, but in my opinion you get that way too late in the game, because I love to use the two-handed weapon or the one-handed weapons and not the shield and the lance. But I loved the time stop ability of the Luna and the earth and the like forest elemental vessel didn't work for me. But let's continue. You can change tactics for every character when you're not using them. It's not something too much, but the standard one is kinda already works for the character. Here we go a little bit with the movement. You can jump, you can run, you can climb a little bit. There are different shops in every bigger area, and this one is a special one with the Greaser syrup. And the dot bears actually have a dictionary, and you can actually like learn the language. They are limited, you can't get endless of them, but also the items aren't endless. So probably if you get every one of the Greaser syrups, you can buy every item from him. I didn't try, I don't know if I'm missing too many, but who knows. Also was never really needed to buy everything from them. In every bigger hub area, the other characters are also usually around, except for Val, because you always play as Val in the hub areas. Then we go over to the meridians, which you can always heal and save and fast travel to different meridians and start of the areas, basically, which is really handy, but it always works only on the continent you're on. You can't just jump around wildly on the map, but there are other possibilities to do that. A specialty of this continent is also your first mount, which I'm going to show off a little bit later. But what you can already see, the game is very bright, very colorful, and the overall like maps look really great. I really love the bigger maps, even if it's kind of like a tunnel almost.
You're mine.
I'm gonna show off some attacks of the one-handed weapon. You can pretty much move like that from the beginning. There are only a few attacks you learn on your way or throughout the game. You can see I'm calling the...
Let's go.
I don't remember how they're called. But also, on my opinion, they are pretty useless because you can only use them on this continent and you get them at the end of the continent. The best thing from them is you can't get attacked when you're on them, but it also takes a lot of time to get up and down. So, in my opinion, they were the useless things to get and on the first continent. The only real use I thought about was if you want to get to Tiania fast and didn't want to try and fight your way through or stuff like that, because they are pretty fast. But also, when you're going through the continents, you have Voskov and Lemmy, which are also really fast. We're gonna go over the combat results really fast. like there are the usual bonuses like they got in the previous games with experience bonus and other things. I'm gonna show up quickly the menu structure with the item rings and magic ring. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word.
I will make quick work of this.
One left.
There are your special attacks, your DS gauge, your health, your mana on the lower right.
I will take
And there's
over.
also your special gauge.
One more.
I won't go to overdo that too much, but I'm gonna show off the
Quite a bit of lucre. Time for some new
CS
gear.
gauge moves. Or one CS gauge move. There are,
Time to get to work.
I would say, for every weapon type, one.
This is it.
As you can I show off Morley here. I only show off one weapon from Morley, but yeah, he has also 3. And those 3 were the 3 characters I played the most. Even though I did use the other characters too, I was just not getting into them too much. Well, you know, that's just how it is, for me at least. There are also, pretty much from the first area, these special areas. When I first got here, I was pretty overwhelmed, because this is like the first area with enemies. And these guys were already level, I think, 60. So you got no chance at the beginning. You could, if you were really want to try it, you could probably beat 1 or 2 of those groups if you basically played perfect. But it's not worth it. You don't get that much experience from that, and the overall thing of these fights is a special item, and I won't go into that too much. You're gonna see the CS gauge attack of Val, the first one. This is like standard finisher.
Do not drop your
Usually not that strong, but it's
again.
A soul guard's resolve never sways.
nice. So, can probably go over the story now. I think I got the basics through. You can still see I'm using Vuskov here, and later use Flammy to go around a little bit. Which I think it really worked nice on. You get a lot quicker through the map, through those. Sometimes I didn't even use the fast travel option, because I can just hop on Vuskov and just be there where I want to be.
Just the turtle we were looking for.
Yeah. Alright, so let's go with the story. Actually, Tiania is not the first place you play as. You play with another character called Yoren, who's also fighting with this one-handed sword. And he was in the prologue, basically, where he and Liza, his love interest, or I don't know if they were more than love interests at this point. But Liza was accepted as an
Thanks,
alm,
Vuskov.
which is basically a sacrifice to keep the mana of the world going. Which of course is never good if you are the lover of someone and your lover gets sacrificed. That's kind of a bad thing, I would say. I don't know why I'm this awkward about this.
Let's fly,
But yeah.
Flammy.
They try to like run away, but you all already see that something's wrong. Every villager of this village is trying to stop you. You fight your way through. Suddenly, people transform and becoming monsters. You fight those off, and then suddenly everyone turns to stone who's left, except for Yoren, because that's his well, his punishment for trying to go against the cycle.
Here's perfect, Flammy. Thanks.
That's the only explanation I have for that. And that breaks the cycle of the Earth City, I think, was it?
This shouldn't take long.
And the same thing basically happens with Val and
This
Hina.
was our victory.
Hina is not a non-playable character, but she helps at the beginning of the game with the fights, like with healing Val, because you are alone. Val is the only character at the beginning. It doesn't take long to get the second character, but it's gonna take a while to get used to both characters and the fighting and all that. But it's a nice addition. The game is not super hard, even on the hard difficulties, which makes it pretty accessible. And also with the spells and items, you don't have much restrictions overall. So yeah, here in the background you can see I go over the weapon change, where I'm just changing to another weapon type completely,
Should make for a nice warm-up.
which is sad. Which is really sad that you can just do it overall later.
Where are the real monsters at?
So, back a few years into the future to Tiania, where the arms always start to go. Val is the protector. He is basically from his childhood on, like, getting used to fighting, getting used to beating monsters, protecting the arms. It's his whole life, basically. And then of course Hina,
I guess this means I've improved.
it's not, they're not it's never spoken, but she's basically his girlfriend and love interest. But they are like, okay, we need to do this. They are going through with all this. They're very, I don't know the right word, but they do this because they know something bad will happen to everyone they love, and they know the whole city and basically the whole, I don't know the whole continent, but pretty much a lot. A lot is going wrong after that. So yeah, next character is Karina. Karina is coming to the party next. She is the arm of wind, if I remember correctly. And then there's Morley, who is the arm of the moon.
Let your guard down.
I'm not gonna go too much into the characters themselves right now because you can play it yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory. The story isn't very complicated. The world isn't very complicated, but it's still lovely. The story is nice to follow, and I don't think anyone should have a problem with following the story or like not liking the story. I think it's pretty lovely overall, and there's I would say kind of a happy end.
There's no need to be so frugal.
But yeah, as I said, I won't spoil too much. The fighting never gets too boring because you have a lot of different varieties of fighting. You can place different characters, and the side quests aren't too boring either, and give a little bit of change to the main story. Ooh, here I'm trying to do a graphical glitch that I discovered while playing. It doesn't matter to the overall game, it doesn't break the immersion or anything, but that is awesome. When I first saw this, I couldn't get my eyes off of it. I don't know when it works, but sometimes this running over the stairs the right way after teleporting just does that to the character. Alright. So this is the main city of the Water Alm, or I don't know how to call it, the Water Vessel, which is pretty much seen over just the course of the world, that like the alms and the maps overall. They do a lot of working with the elements and the magic of the elements, like the big water thing up there. It's really awesome. And there is even a special trader that you only can get here, with special coins that you can get all over the world.
Welcome.
Which is also more for the ability things. Ability seeds.
What can I get?
But you can still buy and sell everything normal. Yeah, I think I've gone pretty much over everything I wanted to. Oh yeah, core stones. I forgot. The core stones are a main thing of Val. He has a special ability that lets enemies and things basically he beats, because enemies, bosses sometimes change them into these crystals, and you can take them with you. And with that, I'm gonna
Please come again.
leave it at that. It's an important thing for the plot. Yeah, so that's pretty beautiful. I like the style, and I hope there are more Mana games in the future. I really love the series overall. Yeah, I really love the direction they took with this one. Every story of every Mana game is in itself done, so there won't be Visions of Mana 2 probably. And I'm fine with that, because the Mana world is still continuing and is still hopefully continuing still good how it works every time. So let's go into tier list where I put it. I would put it in an A tier, because it's not a very hard game. It's easy to get into, easy to come back to, and like the overall difficulty and the overall story, it's not a very hard to digest game, in my opinion. But it's not completely S tier, because I can understand that some are turned off by the themes of the game, because it's a little lovey-dovey sometimes, which some people don't like when there are RPGs. And there are also a lot of things that never really clear, that never get spoken, and this can get annoying. That's why I'm putting it on A tier and not on S tier like the Trails of Mana. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try it. I hope you want to see more. Bye bye.